Hello and welcome to this juicy hamstring class. This is going to be a quick class to show you how to actually activate, strengthen, and lengthen your hamstrings, especially if you feel like you have a lot of trouble touching your toes, especially at the beginning of the day. So we're going to do some interesting movements today, and let's begin. Start at the back of your mat, and we're going to do what I like to call nice hammy bounces. So come with your hands on the mat or wherever you are at this point. Maybe you're just not really reaching to the floor really well here, and that's okay. Wherever you are, you can still practice this movement. And you're gonna slowly bounce twice here in this spot. Now you're gonna make a little step forward with your opposite foot, bounce twice here. And we're just stepping forward here, bouncing twice every time that the leg straightens in front. When you reach the front of your mat, reverse, and now we go back. Always making sure that the legs here are straight, locking out your knees as much as you can and hollowing out your back. You don't want to have a round back here. You want to go for a nice hollow back as much as possible. Just bouncing here, back and forth. And we're gonna do this for a few minutes because it is the best warm-up for your hamstring there ever was. And you'll notice how after a while, those hamstrings are really coming online. It's not about passive stretching. It's about going through this active movement, integrating your whole body. Stepping forward, not even one foot in front of the other, just like a little bit space in between them. Going at your own pace, twice, 3 times, bouncing, coming back, straight, locked knees as much as possible. And once again, it's okay if you're somewhere here and you're just bouncing. The point is that you're bouncing off that hamstring. Feel that bounce here. Keep going. I know this is a little bit of a sweaty exercise. You're really activating that whole body, but that's gonna really help you with tackling those hamstrings if they're super, super tight. A few more times. Back and forth, you can do it. I know it's not very comfortable, but it gets easier. Come back to the center of your mat. Wherever you are, drop down to a deep squat. And now, here in your deep squat, of course, feel free to grab whatever props you need to feel comfortable here. So maybe you need to elevate your heels here. Grab some blankets, some cushions, some books, whatever feels good. Get into whatever your squat is. Place your hands just in front of your feet here. And on the next in-breath, lift up your hips, still keeping your hands glued to the floor. Straighten up for a half lift. Come back down. Lift up, pressing strong into the hands. Feeling those hamstrings firing. Keeping that back straight, not rounding the back. You're really gonna get the most amount of hamstring stretches here if you keep your back hollow. Sinking and lifting. And each time maybe you come up, you feel how those hamstrings are opening up even more. Two more times. Straight back. Strong hamstrings. Well done. Come back into your squat or get up and shake off those legs if you need to. This is quite intense, so it's okay to take a rest, pause the video, whatever feels good in your body. And whenever you're ready, make 2 fists, one above the other, and place them just in front of you. And now the point of this exercise is to get your forehead on top of those fists here. So what you're gonna do is lift up the hips, come with your forehead down and up. Few times more. This is really hard on the whole legs, so it's okay to take breaks if you need to. One more time. Well done. You can sit back, shake off those legs. Well done. Let's meet once again in your halfway lift. So now wherever you are, it doesn't matter if you're not grabbing the floor here with your full hands. However, feel free to also elevate your hands here. So if you have some books, you can perhaps place them on top of the book so you have a nice solid base here. And on the next in-breath, lift up your right foot off of the floor and tap it onto your forearm. Now lift up the left foot off of the floor, tap it to your other forearm. And just keep going like this with your arms straight, with your legs straight, and your back straight as much as possible. Feeling that compression in your belly and feeling that expansion in your back body. Few more times, tapping the foot to the forearm. Well done. Release. Now we meet in a modified pyramid pose. So still stay in your halfway lift and place your right foot about 1 foot in front of the left one here. And just place your hands on your hips, straightening up your both legs here. Let's bounce a little bit just to get that buoyancy into those hamstrings. You might be feeling your right hamstring right now coming online. Just a few more times with a straight back. Well done. Release the pose, stand up, change sides. Left foot comes in front of the right foot. Hinge from the hips and bounce. Really feeling that activation in your back leg here. Giving some strength into your hamstring, not just stretching it passively. Well done. Come up to standing. And let's meet together in the middle of our mat for some nice good mornings. So a good morning exercise is essentially a hip hinge that you're doing with a hollow back, straightening up your hamstrings here so your whole back line is just straight. Everything is locked in. And as your back hollows, you're really targeting your hamstrings in the most amount that you can. So make sure that you're not rounding your back. It's hollow. Try to experiment a little bit with how that feels for yourself. So your feet are about hip width distance apart to begin with. And feel free to place your hands on your hips here. Hinge from the hips, come down to wherever you can still maintain that straight back, that hollow lower back. And come back. Maybe notice again that buoyancy when you fall. And your hamstrings save you here, stop you. You can bounce, go up. Feel that power in your hamstrings, even if you think that they're not flexible. The hamstrings are such tight muscles. We sit all day, which of course makes them super tight, but also our hamstrings are very important survival fight or flight muscles. So they get very tense if we're constantly stressed and stuck in that survival mode. So what we're doing in this class is bringing some aliveness back to those hamstrings. It's not just about stretching them. Stretching can often just push them into more contraction because you don't have the range of motion there. What we want to do is bring the energy back into those hamstrings. Come back to center. And now for a slightly different good morning. Once again, you're going to step with your right foot forward and bounce from here. Hinge from the hips. Bounce gently. Hinge and bounce up. Coming down through your center, making sure you're not turning your body to any side here. Two more times only. Well done. Now let's switch sides. Left foot forward. Hinge from the hips. And come back up. Feeling that front leg working. Two more times. Well done. Last variation. Step out for a slightly wider stance here. This is going to activate different parts of your hamstrings. And same thing, hinge from the hips. And come back up. Feeling that inner hamstrings a little bit more, the inner thighs. Two more times. Before we meet reclining on the mat. Well done. Come back to recline on your mat gently. Keep both of your knees bent here. And now with the next out breath, release the left leg, straighten it up, bend it back, straighten and bend, working on some sciatic nerves right here. Just a few more times, very gently nudging those hamstrings to open. Release, let's repeat on the other right foot. Well done. You can come back to seated slowly. And just to close off this class where you really activated a lot of that energy in your hamstrings, you can just gently start massaging your right hamstrings with both of your hands. Notice how your thigh feels right now. Send it some love and know that even if your hamstrings don't feel so open, so flexible, you still can practice and you still can get to the level of freedom and flexibility that you desire. But it is not just through passive stretching. Well done. Switch. Gently squeezing and releasing that hamstring. Giving some input into the muscles. It really is helpful to touch your muscles, to touch your body, and to stimulate it whenever you feel that it's very stiff, it's dissociated, it's not firing up as it should. Well done. You can release the hamstring, the thigh. Thank you very much for joining me in this class. I hope your hamstrings are feeling a little bit juicier than they were at the beginning. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.